Welcome back to Switched to Linux. So this is a brief overview of the Cinnamon desktop environment on top of Linux Mint 18 Sarah. So I've installed this on a virtual machine. I just did a little bit of adjustments here and there. I put a system clock down here, and I'm going to actually move the system clock up here where you can't see it just to get it out of your way. And I've installed this. I have added the Cinnamon Y, or I guess it's the Linux Mint Y desktop theme, and just did some gray coloration. I just like this darker gray theme here. So we're going to have a quick look at the desktop environment of Cinnamon here. This is my favorite desktop environment of all of the Linux environments that I have played with. I've used this one extensively. I've used Unity extensively. I've used the other desktops with marginal amounts of difference. This one is certainly the one I am more experienced with, mostly because I really like the way that the Windows system works, and I just think that the Cinnamon desktop here mimics that better than all of the other ones I've seen. You know, it's very easy to put folders and such on the desktop. I can work off the desktop pretty easy. The shortcuts are the same. Pushing the F2 gets me to rename the folder. I can go right into folders. One of the things that I really like in the desktop environment here of Cinnamon is that you can actually get into, there's times you need to access some of the system folders that many other distros that I have found you actually would have to go in and do on the terminal. For example, installing themes here, and I'll do a separate video about that another time. But sometimes if you need to get in and make some changes inside of a folder, you can't always make the changes that you might need to make inside of this folder because we're not the root user. But what you can do on the Cinnamon desktop is if you right click, there is the option here to open as root. So this will prompt you for your password, and now it will open up this folder as a root user, which is absolutely time saving in the event that you want to do as much as possible through the graphical user interface without going into the terminal. This is one of those things that really sets this desktop environment apart, is the ability to get into the folders as a super user on the graphical user interface. Most distros, to do these changes, you have to go into the terminal and make those changes through the sudo command in the terminal. You can also set up different workspaces, and holding the Control, Alt, and using the arrow keys, you can move between your different desktops. And so if you push the up, you can see the desktop view of the different workspaces that we have. And I want to say, yep, if you go down, then you'll get kind of a summary on what's on each of the desktops. Okay. So that's one of the things I really like. The amount of shortcut keys is quite extensive, and you can just do a quick Google search or internet search. I use Start Page for my internet. But you can do a quick search engine thing for the Cinnamon shortcut keys. In this case here, it gave me all the different shortcuts available on the Cinnamon edition of the desktop environment. So this is very handy to know. You can look through here and learn the ones that are most relevant to you. Most of these match a lot of the same desktop shortcuts that you might encounter on a Windows type system. You know, your Windows key on your computer will open up your menu, and there's other ones on there as well. So the folder system, or the file manager system here, is Gnome. And one of the things that I like about this one is when I'm doing my web design work, there's times that I want to access folders directly on a server and interact with those. And one of the cool things about this desktop, the Gnome system, is you can actually mount a folder, mount directly into an FTP system with this, which you can also do through a network folder. So in our in our main folder view here, if you hover over this guy here, it says toggle location entry. If you come over here and just type FTP and type in whatever your system happens to be, it'll prompt you to use the login, and I'm not actually going to log in here for security reasons, but this will log right into an FTP system. And then once it is mounted inside the Cinnamon desktop, you can actually load up your Bluefish editor and go right into your mounted folders and use your Bluefish directly with the server. So that's one of the things I really like. I really think that this folder structure here is one of the more advanced. We can search within the folder system over here. You can toggle the locations or the breadcrumb menu over here. We can switch using, we're at the upper right panels here, directly under the close button. You can go between the details, the lists, and the icons. If you do want to change the size of your icons, you can do that down in the lower right-hand corner. There's a slider bar that allows you to change your icons to different sizes. I kind of like them about there. And then you can also show or hide this panel here. And then you can toggle the panel between these different views. So this one here is more like a home structure. Here's our home folder, our desktop documents. Or you can come over here and you can expand it down in this format to see all the different files on the computer. So those are some of the capabilities of the Cinnamon desktop. You can add widgets to the desktop. So I'd already mentioned my clock, which is here. I put it up under my picture up here. And we have launcher buttons over here. These are actually desktop widgets. You can actually add desktop widgets to your desktop by right-clicking, and you can hit Add Desklets from the menu. And then here you can see here we have the launcher desklets. This button here means that they're visible. And I can actually right-click that, and I can add more to the desktop, or I can remove from the desktop. So if I hit yes, you'll see that my two launchers down here went away. And then you can also go online to install more widgets. So there's a lot of these different widgets that you can install and add to your desktop. So here's some decoration settings that you can do. You can also right-click to change the desktop background. So some of the distros don't have as robust of right-click menus, context menus, and such. So here you can just click on these. You don't even have to hit a save or anything. It just goes right back to whichever ones you want to use. I'm going to go back to the one I started on, which is my preferred. And you can toggle looking at various settings here. If you want to have all of your desktops go, you can actually set this as a slideshow, and then it will play them in a random order, changing the desktop images kind of randomly. I'm going to go back to that one again. All right. So you can actually come down here and look at some other images that were included, or you can use your own pictures folder. So if you hit the back button there, this is a quick way you can get back to the settings directly from the desktop. In fact, I do that on Gnome, allows you to do this as well. Just come in here, just select one of these guys here, change the desktop background, and then with that, you can just hit the back arrow, go into all of your main settings here. Okay. So you can also select a folder. You can open it as root, open it in a terminal. You can align your desktop icons. You can show and hide. And actually, this is a handy one here. You can show and hide hidden files by holding your command button or your control button and hitting the H. And this will toggle the visible and the hidden files on on any given folder, which is a very handy thing to do. So inside of Cinnamon here, we have the menu, and you can actually configure the menu by right-clicking on the menu and hitting the configure button. And then this will actually enable you to show and hide the various icons. In this case here, You can use the shortcut. You can set shortcut keys. You're highlighting. You can show the category icons, application icons. So those are actually all the icons in here. So if I turn off category icons, this will give me just a blank list instead of these images here. Same thing with the applications icon, will be these icons right next to the list. So you can show the various different options over here, and then we can actually set a delay on your menus here. So let's do maybe a half a second delay on your menu hover items. I think that might drive me a little crazy, but some people might like that feature. I'm going to go ahead and turn that back down. I would prefer the menus pop up immediately. Okay, but you can see that you can do that. So if you want to, you can come over here and you can hide or customize what is inside of each of these folders. For example, Evolution shows up under Internet, and actually I think it shows up under Office by default. I believe in my tutorial in setting this VirtualBox, I moved it over into Internet because Thunderbird is also here. You can actually customize where those are by hitting the Open Menu Editor button here. And then this is going to open up this menu editor, and you can actually you can highlight things, you can hide them, you can delete them, you can move them, you can actually change the icons as well. So if you want to change an icon of something, you can come over here and under your properties, I think the icon changed. Yep, you click on the icon here, and then you can actually change the icons around. So there's actually several different icon items here installed by default, and so you can actually find the icons that you might like. And I'm just seeing if there happens to be a Firefox icon here under these or not. I'm not going to spend too much time looking at these, but you can hunt around for the various icons that you want to install, and actually you can also change your icon themes in another location as well. But if you want to change an individual icon, in fact, that's what I did. I'm not a big fan of the Linux Mint icons that come with Linux Mint. In fact, the first time I installed Linux Mint, and I love the Linux Mint system, but I hate what the icons look like. And so I actually changed my Firefox icon to a nice picture I found online of the Firefox fox eating the Internet Explorer icon. It's kind of what I did on my my production Linux Mint computer. But overall, I really like the Cinnamon desktop. I think it's very clean. It looks a lot like the Windows platform. It operates much like that. There are certainly other desktops that I want to explore and potentially turn into more production systems than these. However, as far as what I'm already used to, and if you're already used to Windows coming into this system from a Windows platform, you might want to check out the Linux Mint Cinnamon desktop, because this desktop environment does get you the best look and feel like the Windows system. So this has been Tom, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.